was eliminate dentsply from my lab. You know, that's a little, actually it's a little easier said than done. It was not a big deal. And it's not political or anything about the quality of their product. I was just sick of those molds. They're as old as I am. So, in using their product wasn't going to make me different. So, I did this exhaustive search for denture teeth, and I found a few, but the one I kept coming back to was this one. I took a class from Arian Deutsch in Arizona, and he was showing, we did some Gerber setups and some model analysis, and we're using these teeth. So I got looking at them, and they're really vital. You want to take a look. 5-layer denture tooth. The labial anatomy is phenomenal. It's just a great tooth. So I got them back to the laboratory and started exposing them to a few of my customers, and they love them. And I've stocked them. I've been using them ever since. Allison told me the show special. I was kind of blown away because you get a 1x28 of those to play with, mold and shade of your choice. The PCS kit that I'm going to show you today, and the brushes that I'm going to show you are all part of the deal. So let's get going. I'm going to show you the PCS system here. First of all, it all starts with a good wax up. And in my laboratory, I wax to full contour. I don't do a lot of finishing. It's the contour that I want. It's the texture that I want before it goes in the flask. So we inject everything. So when it comes out of the flask, my job is to check the occlusion a little bit, knock the flash off and put it in the bag. And our goal is from the flask to the bag in 10 minutes, so I don't do a lot of finishing. So it really doesn't, I don't stipple with a burr or anything like that. So that's the kind of wax up that we, invest. I invest in putty, and the putty that I use is the Matrix Form 70 from Annextent. There's a lot of good putties out there, and I give my assistant free rein as to what she wants to use. So she goes with that, and I said, as long as it picks up the detail of the wax up, I'm good with that. So,
will you use the 70 straight up? You don't go to the 60 first?
No, I don't. I have done that, and it works fine, but it takes time. Time is money, and I get the detail that I want out of just the Matrix Form 70. So I do all this in the flask. I'm a big fan of Hobby Lobby. I go there all the time. So I had this ceramic tray for a while, candleware ceramic tray. It got all messed up. So I was wandering around in Hobby Lobby, and they sell these like 3 for $5 or something like that. The problem with them is they were kind of light. You put monomer in them, you bump them, and now you got monomer all over your bench. So I just put a silicone base on it. Now it's got some weight. And if it gets scratched up, you throw it away because it's cheap. The bottles that I'm going to use all came from Hobby Lobby. And there's 3 main colors to the set. It's the new shell, and I use a steel tip with that because I want to be a little bit more exact as to where I place that material. And the corral, which is a little red, the red color, and the anemone, which is kind of a purple color for the sulcus and the peripheral areas. Those all come in the kit. And then there's 4 intensive stains. Well, you will reorder these. You'll go through these. These intensive stains are a lifetime supply. So it's really a good deal. I've had my kit for 7 years and probably used a quarter of it. So it's a really good deal. So I used to use really cheap brushes because me and an expensive brush, the phone would ring and I'd get acrylic in it and I'd end up throwing it away, So I was looking around in Hobby Lobby and found these. It's a watercolor brush with a reservoir. And I thought, why not monomer? Now, this is a little disclaimer. I don't know if, you can see it. So I got this back to the lab and I'm all excited about it. This is a new brush. I started extruding monomer out the end of it. See that? It's yellow. So I'm thinking, crap, this idea isn't going to work. But then as I extruded monomer out of it, it cleared up. So this is the brush that I use every day. I've used it for 3.5 months, and you know, it's as good as new.
Once the yellow wears,
Yeah, it's just there's just some sort of stain in the bristles, and once you run a bunch of monomer through it, it clears it right up. So instead of wetting my brush and going in, it's just I just give this a little squeeze, and it dispenses the monomer where I want it. So this is a little practice procedure. I tell you what, you take this back to your lab and play with it for an afternoon. You'll be an expert in no time. So and this is kind of how I do it. I wet that first. I take the new shell and just add it along the long axis. And I like this stuff because of the grain structure of this material. It really stays where you put it.
Where did you get the metal tips? Hobby Lobby?
That's Hobby Lobby also.
Hobby Lobby's like a arts and crafts store.
I'm sure any arts and crafts store probably have it. So I got that where I want it. Got to make sure I don't have the yellow brush. That's the one. So now what I do with this, the wetted brush, is I go into interproximals, and what will happen is the monomer will wick into the color. This is just a practice procedure, so like what I'm going to do with this after I added all the color to it, these are what I came up with. But then you're going to cover it with a self-curing polymer and just throw it in the pressure pot for 5 minutes. In the flask, I use the heat cure monomer, whatever you use. Like I'll use the Candelore that's made for the Color EC kit. That works great.
Specific monomer for this?
There is. They're having a little bit of issue importing it into the United States because of the hazardous material thing. If there's enough copper in the material, I'm sure they will. But the thing about it is, you could use anybody's monomer. That's what I like about it. What I'm doing right now is self-curing because it's a practice procedure.
But if you're processing your dentures in like a bulk, or you would just use that monomer because it's going to cook with the denture, right?
Correct.
And this color, this M color, you mixed it yourself with these pigments?
No, this is straight new shell. It comes in a bottle. Where is it?
For all the grills we make.
It's this color right here. That's not mixing. Yeah, I just transferred it into this bottle, and that's a good point. That's what I like about this system. I don't have to mix the colors. They're pleasing to my eye. They're of nature. So I've got that done, and I'm going to add a little bit of the corral in there. It's red. And then because I like things layered and it's kind of a marbling effect, I'll use the new shell again. I use the most of this material. And right at the bottom of the eminentia, I'll put a little bit of an eminence band.
See how he's layering?
The nice thing about this brush too, if you get a little bit of powder stuck on that, you just extrude a little bit of monomer and wipe it on your towel, and it's cleaned off. You guys hear me all right? Because my voice is shot. And it's kind of a dab and blend. Dab and blend, dab and blend. And it goes really fast. When I'm doing it in the flask, I'll start with the front. I'll start with the anterior teeth. That's the money shot, right? That's what everybody's going to look at. You know, there's always that debate. Why colorize your dentures? Nobody sees it. The patient does.
There's no bonding.
Yeah.
The teeth are in there.
It makes a difference.
So what happens is the dentist gets the key behind you. See that? So they make the impression. They send it in.
Okay, so I've got that layered in, and I'm going to use the, where'd it go? Here it is. I lost my shaker bottle yesterday. I don't know where it went. This is the anemone. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of the corral and add that on top of it to blend it in. And if I'm going to use intensive stains on it, I'll do that last. I'll show you that in a minute.
The red and blue intensive.
Yes.
And yellow.
To find my little brush. You notice I'm leaving the center kind of open. I've got my frenum there, and I'm going to do something a little bit different with that. So I've got a little bit too much monomer there. What you do is you just shake a little more powder in there, and it kind of freezes it so it doesn't run it all over the place. The other nice thing about this technique is there's not any waste. You're really not wasting a lot of material. A little goes a long ways. It even tells you where to push on your brush.
And when I do that with a brush, many times it destroys quite quickly the brush after some use. Is it long lasting?
I've used this brush. This is a very inexpensive brush, and I've used it for 3 months. And like I was saying before, if you get a little powder on this, you just give it a little squeeze and extrude some monomer out, and it cleans it right off. And then when you're done, you just extrude the rest of the monomer out the end of the brush, wipe it off, and throw it back in your drawer. You know. Okay, intensive stains. So I'm just going to show the red, what I do with the red and the blue. Like I said, a little goes a long way with this. I'm going to put a little monomer inside one of the dishes.
Keep her in there. Get that concept. It's really neat. I mean, it's.
All right. I got to find my brush. I use a different brush for the stains. Something like this. They come in a pack of 10 for $4 or $5. So when you had the stains, go ahead and grab a little monomer and just, like I'm going to do the red first, just at the bottom of the eminentia, it kind of represents capillaries. It's very intense, so I'll go back after with my watercolor brush and kind of blend it. Same thing goes with the blue, and I keep that more toward the like I said, a little bit goes a long ways. And then you blend, 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 blend. Now for the frenum, it's a little bit different. A lot of guys don't even put frenums on their denture, but I do. But if you're going to put it in the wax, you might as well accentuate it in the characterization. So I'll remove any of the acrylic that might be at the frenum area. And then I go back with the new shell, the light blanche color. And this is what I like about the metal tip, because it really is pretty exact as to where you put it. Frenums are triangular. Okay.
Use that for the gingival tone material. The metal tip is more for the
Right. Right. Because, like I said, you want to be a little bit more exact as to where you put it. You might take a little red and touch the sides of this, or it'll wick in fast. And again, when you're done, you got a little junk on the end of your brush. Just give it a squeeze and give it a wipe.
You definitely recommend using putty if you're doing this technique and against
Not
stone.
necessarily, other than for me, putty comes out really clean.
Right.
You know, and there's no finishing at all. Like I said, from the flask to the bag in 10 minutes. And this is what I'll do at the end here is I'll sprinkle on some self-curing polymer, wet it, throw it in the pressure pot for 5 minutes. And the other thing that you can do is, like at the try-in stage, if you want to do it like a mock-up for your doctor, do one of these, just send it along with the try-in, and then they can take a picture for you. And then you can make any adjustments with the intensive stains when you finish the denture.
If I were doing that, pre-packing and was using my Lucitone liquid, I know you don't like the densify stuff, but the Lucitone liquid.
It's okay. I used it for a long time. I was mainly talking about the teeth.
Right. So if I were to use my Lucitone liquid, should I do this first and let it set and then mix for my main acrylic? Or like if you were to pack against that?
So what's your
too
setting
early,
time?
would it
I haven't
disperse
packed Lucitone in a long time. So what's the gelling time when you mix your Lucitone?
It's longer than some acrylics.
Then I would suggest do this first, or mix your acrylic and then do this. And then by the time you're done with this, your acrylic will be ready. Let me think
But if I
about
were to
that.
pack it, is it going to disperse
Yeah,
it?
let me think about that.
I'd want that to be set more than my packing.
Yes, you do.
Me, when I do that, I mix the packing acrylic when I finish that. So
Okay.
so this is sets, and once you're ready to press, it don't disperse it.
I think so.
But
Yeah. You do this first.
I have always to put back the liquid because there is a frosty appearance that comes, and I always add some liquid.
Right before you pack it, you add it.
Yeah.
Moisten it again.
Yes. And
Are you Julie?
sorry.
Are you Julie?
Yes.
It's good to meet you. I love your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
My son's name is Julie.
Come.
I'm very familiar with this work. It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
So basically, that's it. It goes fast. The other thing I've kind of been working on is using PCS with digital dentures. And here's an example of, I did half. A lot of guys like to use composite. And this went really fast, and this was my first attempt at one.
You did this after the fact?
This is post-processing. It's this set.
If
Yeah.
you were doing that, what kind of monomer? You want to use
I
like a repair
used,
monomer?
what I did with that is I used TC's pore monomer. It's a self-curing monomer, but it's that pore acrylic that you use for partials.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming.